August's look of the month is an amazing work of art, Ocean Spray Summer Vibe. Tracey's gonna recreate it, inspired by Young Nails Wood Bank, right now.
So it seems like it's been a really long time for me for filming. I think it's been a couple months actually, and I have to be honest, I'm nervous. I really am actually nervous. I came out of the warehouse. I wanted to do a set of nails because I fell in love with these nails. We posted them a couple weeks ago. They did really well, and I thought I would share my take on it, and hopefully I do it some justice. Let's get started. So, y'all, I think every time I've shown you my nails in the last couple months when I do a video here or there, they look like a disaster. This is like your worst client nightmare. They come in because they haven't been able to get in for a long time. You can see, like, first of all, look at the grow out. Like it's insane. There's a lot. And then if you look at it from the side, you can see like it's really thick at the tip, right? And then we get to the center, kind of where we need the bulk, we need the stress area, we need the apex. And it's starting to get thin because the thinner part here is growing out toward the stress area. So that's where we have to restructure, rebalance, redo everything. This is why this takes more time and I charge more money for it. For me, I'm actually gonna do gel. So I'm gonna zip this off really quick for you guys, show you how easy it is to remove the bulk, and then we'll go into the gel nails. So let's start by pushing back. I'll do the other nails off camera, so we're just gonna focus on this pointer finger. Push it back real quick. Again, doesn't need to take a lot of time or energy. And turn my electric file on. I like to run it to about 16,000 RPMs. And I'm gonna use my Coarse safety bit. So I'm gonna kind of look down my barrel, and I'm just gonna start taking the bit and pulling it towards myself. Get the bulk off. I know you all need to see, so I'm trying to keep it low. Usually I have this finger right in my face so I can see better. Turn it a little bit. Move it around, and you can see we're starting to whittle down. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to tell your client that you're whittling down their nails. Take it down a little bit. Starting to get towards that. You guys have to excuse me. My thumb is a little tweaked. It doesn't move so well lately. They say it's a trigger finger, so it doesn't like to bend anymore. So I'm trying to work around that. Okay, so I'm gonna get up a little bit closer. I got most of it down. You can see how fast that is. I'm gonna get it a little bit closer so I can see. So I'm gonna be off camera for a second, but I can assure you, I'm just taking a little bit more down. So I did this off camera, sorry guys, but I kind of just V'd in my nail. I like doing that when there's a longer nail to work with. If I kept it square, then I feel like I'm kind of having to deal with the bulk of the side walls or the side nail, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So if I clip them away, this will be all product that I can file down, and I don't have to worry about hitting the natural nail. Okay, so then I just take my file, and again, I'm going to taper it in a little bit more because I don't want to have to deal with that natural nail when I'm filing and shaping my product in my sidewalls. And I don't go crazy. I'm not going to sit here and shape every nail perfectly like I'm doing a manicure before. Again, I'm just tapering it in a little bit, taking off that harsh edge so it's not sharp. My natural nail was pretty grown out. In fact, in the other ones, they're almost all the way grown out. I personally do not like to work over someone's natural nail. If they want an extension, if they want a longer nail, I like to get rid of most of their natural nail. That way I'm not dealing with the fact that their natural nail grows sideways, or it ski slopes up, or it waves, whatever it does, where it makes it harder to get the form. Get rid of it. I know your client's like, but it's my natural nail. It's like, you know what? You paid for these are yours too. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now let's do our natural nail prep. So let's switch out to our 150 zebra pens. If you guys haven't tried the 150 zebra pens, I'm loving these. You guys know how much I love the Coarse bit, the medium crosscut bit for prep, but I actually really love this too. So since it is a new one, I am going to grab my file. and I'm going to de-sharpen it. I think I'd make up a lot of words, but we're gonna take that sharp edge off. That way we can tuck up in the corner and we don't have to worry about cutting our client. So now I've already pushed back. First thing I'm gonna do is get in that cuticle area, guys. That's always my number one go-to area when I first start, because that's the most important. If we don't take care of that area, we're going to get lifting. So, and another reason why we season that file is so I can kind of tuck up in there. What I don't want you to do also is I see some people when they come through the body, so if we want to remove the shine, they kind of come up at an angle and they go through here. What that does, that can put in lines to the natural bed. So I'm tilted a little bit to tuck into that cuticle area. But when I go to the natural nail itself, look at my bit is flat on that natural nail. It's not tilted. Again, we're just going to remove the shine. We're not going to overthink it. And we're done. That's it. Okay. Cleansing time. You guys know I like to use the brush. We're going to take our swipe. We're going to pump a little into that clean brush. And I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go away from the cuticle area. I'm not going to go sideways, because what that does is when we go sideways like this, we just force this dust that's on my fingers into the grooves. We want it out. So if we pull down, it's going to pull it all out of those sidewalls. Okay. Prep is done. Yay. Protein bonds next. We've been getting a lot of questions. I've been answering a lot of the DMs on Instagram. So we're getting a lot of questions about the process of prep. People are like, I dehydrate and then I prime and then I'm prepping. And it's like, make sure you go in order. With Young Nails product, you only need to push back the cuticle, remove the shine, swipe it clean, protein bond twice. That's it. No need for extra dehydrators, primers, anything. You won't get any lifting. So let's get the one coat on. All the way through, all 10 fingers. After you're done with the 10th nail, there's no need to count or wait a certain amount of time. Just as soon as you're done with that 10th nail, just go in for your second coat. Let's get this back here. Kind of give us that extra, so it's not so flimsy. And put the form on. Okay, so we get questions also about how to tell if the form is straight. Now, people's fingers are crooked. So if you sit here and you hold your client's finger completely straight and move it the way it's supposed to be, and then put the form on, once you let go, that form's going to be crooked. So what I like to do, once I have the form on, I try to get it where I think it's going to be. I have them just relax. I hold their hand up. I have them relax their hand, and their fingers are naturally going to just relax and go in the direction that God gave them. So then I can see, is it a little crooked? Do I need to adjust? Or I also will flip it around after I do that, and just to double check, I don't grab their fingers and hold it straight. I grab just this part of their hand. Again, they just kind of naturally relax. Fingers go in the direction they're gonna go, and then I can adjust the form from there. So just little tips on how to get your form straight. My finger is crooked. I do have a crooked finger, so I kind of have to adjust the form to make up for that. So we're gonna keep it right about there. Okay, I am gonna grab my base. And if I had a client who had, let's say, acrylic nails, and I wanted to do this gel look, and I'll explain to you later why I think it needed to be done in gel. I have no problem if a client has acrylic on the rest of the nails, removing one nail and putting gel on. It doesn't matter normally to our clients, and if it's gonna give them the look they want, mix and match, it just doesn't matter. Okay, so we're gonna use Synergy gel. I'm gonna use the gel Clear Sculptor applicator and our base. And I'm gonna start off with base. And normally, if you've watched videos, I like to sculpt out with the Precision Gel applicator. But I'm gonna be doing a lot of layering, and when I'm doing a lot of layering, I actually like to sculpt out in my base because it's very, very thin. So we're gonna kill two birds with one stone by sculpting out and basing our natural nail. Okay, so I'm gonna grab our base, and again, like I said, I'm gonna sculpt it out in the base and also take care of the natural nail too. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of that natural nail. Get that thin layer of base. Guys, base is so important. It is the foundation to the nail. It's what everything's gonna adhere to. Please don't skip base, even when you're doing fills. Why stress? Why worry? If there's a step you can skip, I'm gonna tell you. This is not one of them. Okay, so we got it. Just nice thin layer on that natural nail. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab some and sculpt out my free edge with base. And again, I like it when I'm gonna layer so much to do it with base, because I can get that nail super, super thin. Typically, I wouldn't, because it's gonna take me a little more time to do it this way. Let's get it in the light. I'm just gonna stick it on for 30 seconds. The reason why sculpting with base might take you a little more time than using the precision gel applicator is this is thicker. I can do pretty much all 5 nails, sculpt them out, put them in the light, I'm done. With base, I'm probably gonna sculpt out 1 or 2. Now, I'm working on the other hand, so does it really a time killer? Not much. I'm scheduling the same amount of time no matter what I'm doing, but you can, you know me, I like to pick up one thing and put it down and not have to return to it. So with base, it's a little more of a, what would you call it? A bad game of the hokey pokey. You gotta go back and forth. I'm gonna do something I tell you guys not to do all the time. I'm gonna leave the form on. But if you're gonna leave the form on, we have to make sure we do a final cure without the form. I'm gonna leave it on because right now it's just not necessary to remove. And I did a very thin layer of base, so I just don't wanna have to carefully remove it and worry about it breaking. Okay, so I'm gonna pull base out again. Now, I'm really sad about this next part. The glitter that they used in the video, I believe is one of our discontinued colors, Sea Spray, which hurts my heart. Sea Spray, Waterfall, and High Tide all got discontinued. No fault of our own. This is not our fault. We just could not get it anymore. So I actually have a supply of it, but I wasn't gonna torture you guys by using it and then tell you, well, we can't buy it. So I'm gonna kinda try to make up for it by doing a little bit of a mixture. I'm gonna use silver, Funkadelic, and Diamond Dust. And I have, in my head, gone over how I'm gonna apply it half a gajillion different ways. I think I'm gonna pre-mix it in the jar. Instead of mixing it in gel, I'm just gonna leave it as a loose glitter, which I like to do most of the time. So I'm gonna, just in the lid, go ahead and pop in some silver. Let's go heavy on the Diamond Dust. I'm gonna keep these out just in case I need a splash of something. And a little Funkadelic. And we're gonna shimmy it. Kind of mix it together, see what we get, and get a little brush. I don't know. I think we kind of faked out that glitter look they had. It's not as pretty as Sea Spray or High Tide or Waterfall, but it is pretty. Okay, cool. We're also going to use Surf, and let's grab our handy dandy makeup brush, which I am wiping on my jeans because it gets all the glitter out. And I don't have the picture of the nails up. That's okay. We're gonna wing it. We're just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna start with the little mixture I made. And we're just gonna tap it into that sticky layer. Sure. And then I'm gonna take that into each other. Yeah. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna grab some more base. Now, if you've watched my videos before, when I'm layering, I really do love using base all the way through until I'm going to get my structure and strength. Because it is so thin, I just find it really easy to layer with. Actually, before I take my base, let's get the rest of our stuff out, right? I'm gonna grab a couple Celebrate and a couple Moody. There's our extra income right there. Extra 5, 10, love it. Okay, so let's grab some of that base again. I'm just gonna flow a little bit over. Brush it forward, getting a little of that glitter pulled through. I'm gonna take some of our confettis and just start sticking them in. This is why you guys want it thin, because as you're layering, especially something like these big confettis, you want it at the bottom so when you file, you're not filing it all out. Wish my finger was bigger. I could get more stuff in it. I know it's wet, but I'm going to add a little more surf around just to make it pop a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's get this in the light, and I'm just going to freeze it for about 30 seconds. It doesn't even take that long. I just work on 1 or 2 of the nails on the other hand. Freezing really takes about 10-15 seconds to do. We don't want to cure every level of or every layer of gel. That's what I did when I first started, and I'm like, gel takes forever. It's because I was doing base, 2 minutes, and then I would do my builder, 2 minutes, and then I'd add some more builder, 2 minutes, and then I'd do some more, 2 minutes, and like this is, no, you don't have to do that. Just freeze it, get it to stop moving. You can add all the products you want to. Okay. We're gonna grab our handy dandy tile, and we are going to grab that clear sculptor, and we're gonna have some fun. So I'm gonna grab a clear sculptor. I don't need a ton because I'm only working on 1 nail, and I probably just made enough for all 10. And then we are gonna take our liquid art. Yes, this is monomer, but you can mix monomer or liquid art into gel, and I'm gonna show you how. I had a liquid art accident earlier because I thought I can pour it without the dropper, and I got it all over myself, and it will stain your skin, just a warning. But you wanna take the dropper, and we're just gonna add a couple. I want this in pretty intense blue, so I think that was 4. I think that was 4, let's see if that'll work. That'll give us the look we're going for. We're just gonna mix. And the key to mixing liquid art into gel, you see those streaks? That's the monomer. We wanna work those streaks out until it's just pretty much colored gel. Before we get asked a bunch of times where you can get this at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, anywhere they sell like things for painting, picture painting. So it's just a little, I think they call it a painter's knife. Okay, so now let's take that color. So this is why I wanted to do it in gel, because we're kind of gonna do that bubble thing. Remember when that was really popular a couple months ago or 6 months ago? I don't know, time has flown. It could have been 2 years ago. But I think they have this little bubble, like almost sea spray in their nail look. And I thought, let's do it in gel so I can get that. So we're gonna grab our liquid art. And I'm gonna try to turn myself a little bit. And come in. I think they have theirs random again. I probably should have grabbed. See, the liquid art really starts making things pop. I think I'm gonna cover this Moody all together. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my abs are cool, but have you tried donuts cup? Mm-hmm. And just take some bubbles, and probably in your guys' way. I'm gonna grab some bubbles. And I'm just gonna place it on the nail. It's just that hard. And let's go ahead and cure this. And again, just about 30 seconds. Okay, we're just gonna take a white and dust it off. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I got the little bubbles. Actually, I'm gonna remove the form now. You guys can kind of see the little bubbles. But they're there, and they'll kind of show up more once we get our strength and structure on top, and then the dimension starts popping through. So now, I think I'm just gonna add just a couple more on top. Again, that layer, as you're layering, you're gonna get more dimension. So let's go ahead and just take a little bit of base. put a base. Not sure where I want to set it, but let's set one here. And I think I want to set one on top of this. Yeah. Okay. Let's cure it. Again, just about 10 seconds. Let's get our clear sculptor again, and now we're going to go ahead and add our strength and structure. So before we actually get the strength and structure on, I want to show you how thin it actually is right now. Like, there's really hardly any thickness to this. This is going to give us plenty of room to be able to layer, get our structure, our strength, and then not file out our design. Hopefully. I say that because I always file out part of my design. I'm just heavy-handed that way. But if I did this right, we shouldn't. Okay, clear sculptor. It's a little different when you're doing yourself than a client, but I like to always drop the finger down, whether I'm working on myself or a client, and that's going to let that gravity work for us. All right, so we're going to start here, and I'm going to do a little touch up when I can see closer, but you guys are getting the idea. I'm going to get the bulk, then I'm going to drag it down. I'm just squeezing as I go. As I kind of get through that thicker part where we need it thicker, I kind of let loose, don't squeeze so much, and just kind of let it flow down. As I need more, squeeze a little bit more. Again, let that gravity, let that nozzle, let everything move it for you so you're not having to deal with it. Okay, I'm gonna look at it sideways. Actually, I'm pretty happy with it. Well, I'm happy with it. Let's get in the light before I change my mind. Okay, in the light. I don't usually feel heat, but I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on to half power. And that way your client won't feel heat. We get a lot of questions about that, like how can I prevent heat? Now, even with acrylic, you can feel heat. If your client has bitten their nails off several times, I even had a nail tech who's practicing the other day. She's like, I can feel the acrylic getting hot on me. I'm like, well, how? She's like, I'm redoing my sets every day. I'm like, how are you removing your sets? She said, I'm ripping them off. You could hear that little like guilty tone, even though she was texting. I'm ripping them off, and then a big smiley face. Like, as you peel away layers of your natural nail, you're gonna feel the heat from whether it's acrylic or gel. Now gel, some people are just more sensitive than others, but if you have a half power feature like ours does, you do that, it's actually, if you guys saw it just kicked it up a notch. It just gradually increases the intensity of the light. Or let's say you don't have that. If we do it in front of the light where it's hitting the light, but it's not directly in the light, that just slows the process down. You only need to do the freezing in front of the light for about 15-20 seconds before they can go in the light. That usually just takes out all the heat for your customer altogether. I'm not a big fan of doing have them do this, because you'll find your client keeps doing this and their gels never actually cure. You want it, just freeze it in front of the light like this, then put it directly in the light for the remaining of the time. Okay, let's grab our swipe. Remove that sticky dispersion, whatever you want to call it. I feel like if you needed to add, you would add. I wouldn't have waited the 1 minute in the LED. I would have added prior, but I didn't need to add. But if you did, cure it for about 30 seconds, add some more, do your final cure. We're gonna remove that sticky layer. I'm gonna file and shape, and then we'll get back to you on putting the top coat on. Okay, we filed, we shaped. Just gonna kind of dust off that nail. I'm gonna take my protein bond, because I wanna really make sure that I have no chipping. Again, remember, I go straight from a 150 file, right? Shaping, refining, after I've used my electric file, dust it off. I don't buff. If you take a buffer, guys, and you go to town, not only are you just killing your time, you're gonna make the surface too smooth, which is gonna cause chipping, and we don't want that. So we're gonna take that 150, we're gonna take our protein bond, is what we're gonna do now, and coat it. And what does this do? Okay, we have a textured surface from our 150 file. We've added protein bond. Now we know we're not getting any chipping whether we put a gel polish on or a gel polish top coat. I'm gonna use my stain resistant top coat and I'm gonna top coat. Okay, now since I have a see-through tip, I like to wipe off like all the excess from my brush, and I just kind of go underneath and hit that. That way I know it's gonna be nice and see-through all the way. Now I'm gonna do a little trick. Now, this upsets some of you, but I'm a very heavy-handed filer. I just am. So I tend to file a little glitter out of my back area, no matter how thin I get it. It's just right around the cuticle. I always like to take a little glitter at the end. If I did, I haven't really looked, but I'm gonna show you this tip. If you do it, or I do this anyway because I think it gives it just a little more dimension on top of it. I'm gonna take the glitters that we used, right? I'm gonna just cure that for 30 seconds. I'm gonna take those glitters that I used and our brush, and I'm just gonna hit the back area. Now, some of you feel like this, I wouldn't wanna do this in front of a client. I just now know that that back area is nice and tight. I have no gaps. I actually think I did okay this time, but it gives it just a little more dimension. In fact, I think I'm just gonna hit a little glitter around there too. See how it just makes a little more pop? Just for the fun of it, right? Make sure it's nice and flat. You can even take your brush and just kind of brush it down. That way you know if the glitter's flat. Take our top coat again and do a nice healthy amount over the top. We already coated the underside, so I'm not worried about that. Let's get it in light for a minute. Okay, let's get it out of the light. Let's grab our swipe, our lint-free, wipe that dispersion, and I'm gonna finish out the rest of the nails and get back to you with the final look.
Thank you so much for watching our nail videos. To check out more, head right over here, and to subscribe to our channel, click right over here.